Okay, remember that video we watched about the microbiome? Yes. Okay. What's that?
On Tuesday?
Well, the only video we watched about the microbiome. And in it, it was talking about how microbes they defended you and they taught your immune system how to function, right? So, for an example of that in practice, people who overuse vaginal douches can lower the population of lactobacillus in the vagina. Lactobacillus, occupying that ecological niche, is one of the ways that we block Candida albicans from overgrowing in that region. Okay, so lactobacillus prevents a yeast infection. All right, and by getting rid of those sort of bacterial mercenaries that we have, we open ourselves up to that. Another example is C. diff, right? Clostridium difficile. Clostridium difficile is pretty common around, but people will often get infected with it after they take antibiotics. It's in your colon, it's in your guts, right? So in that gut flora, when you wipe out, the microbial population that lives there, then C. diff, which is very, very resistant to antibiotics, it can just take over. And the tool that doctors typically use for something like that is more antibiotics, right? Which just creates, the cycle continues over and over again, because C. diff is pretty hard to wipe out using the antibiotics. And even if you can kill them with antibiotics, you got to stop taking the antibiotics at some point. Yes?
If they prescribe a stronger antibiotic to get rid of C. diff, can you eventually just get rid of C. diff on your own?
You can, by taking stronger and stronger antibiotics, but then you have to stop at some point. And then you're going to be having less and less antibiotic in your system, and then it's a great environment for C. diff. As soon as you go off the antibiotic, they can come right back. Because they're on your shoes and stuff like that. So one unorthodox treatment that's been gaining popularity is fecal transplants. Yeah, you give someone laxatives to give them diarrhea, then collect the healthy diarrhea, and then you put a tube up someone's rear end and pump the diarrhea up into their guts, right? And it solves the problem by introducing the healthy flora from someone's intestines. You restore the balance in there, and those bacteria will fight off the C. diff, so that the C. diff doesn't have the entire gut to itself. When the doctor first started doing it, she was using like her sons or her nephews like as a donor for the material. It was like, I know a great source. But think about, hey, it's inexpensive and and it works, right? So
you don't filter it like.
what do you mean filter?
Everything that's coming out can't be.
You're trying to get the germs from someone else's poop. It's the germs that you're trying to get.
You're not swallowing
Oh,
it.
it's someone else's species. It's not
Yeah,
our
from
own
someone else's
species?
feces.
Yeah, I saw in Grey's Anatomy, and they used like the woman's boyfriend because they lived in the same house, so everything was kind of common, so they used his. Grey's Anatomy.
She's still
So if
dying,
you're-
like, metaphorical sense.
Yeah, one of my students was like,
feces like pumped into your body.
one of my students was like, I don't know if I would. And I was like, okay, fair enough. When you're healthy, you can joke about like, I'd rather die or whatever. But when you're nailed to the toilet for a few days, after a while, you'd be like, you know what? Give that to me. This is how I want to go. I don't want to poop myself to death on the toilet.
Take
right?
probiotics or something.
That's what I was just about to ask.
Probiotics are really nice, but you got to imagine that your intestinal flora is like, it's like Shanghai, right? And taking probiotics is like unloading like one bus of like Mormon missionaries into the place, right? If you're trying to recreate Shanghai, right, you can't do that by dropping like one busload of one kind of bacteria into there, right? Because that's not going to recreate the entire intestinal flora with all the different characters and all the different kinds of. So it's not bad to take probiotics. It's not bad to, you know, take some of these healthy bacteria like Acidophilus and Lactobacillus and things like that. Yeah, go ahead and take them. Even, you know, if you want to be crazy, go ahead and take some, you know, kefir or something like that. But again, it's not a good idea to even consume all the kinds of bacteria that should be ending up in your gut anyway. Like you wouldn't necessarily want, because you've got populations in there that are kind of remnants from like every bad pizza you had from Little Caesars and all those times you ate at Taco Bell that you didn't feel so well the next day and stuff like that. Like you've got it's Mos Eisley Cantina down in there, okay? It's you know, a wretched hive of scum and villainy, and it's not something that you why don't you eat your own poop, right? Like it wouldn't be healthy to consume your own poop. It's not a good idea to do so, right? You'd get sick, right? Because you've got pathogens even in your own feces. Okay, so
I watched a woman walk by and he's talking about food. And I can just imagine what she's thinking.
yeah, I just walked into my lab the other day, and this girl everyone was listening to one of my students, and she said, "No, you just put it in your pants, and then no one sees it." And I was like, "And with that, we're starting lab."
So with dogs, because I know that they're common to be drawn to eating their own feces, if not some other animal
Cats?
species. Is
Yeah.
there a reason why? Well, I know with cats, it's because that their our food, cat food, has more. I can't remember what it was.
Protein?
More protein in it than dog food.
Not our dog food.
To really answer that question, you'd have to understand the world as the dog understands it, and that's probably outside of human capability right now. Like the smells and flavors that would present to a dog must be very different than us. You know, dogs will find a rotting. Well, maybe you don't know this because your dogs have never been around a rotting carcass. But if your dogs find a rotting carcass, dogs love to roll around in rotting carcasses, right?
They do.
If you've ever been in the third world, do not let a dog come up and rub against you, because they might have found a dead animal
Wow.
that's like putrescent, right? And they'll come and like rub up against you, and then you'll be like, why do I smell like death? And you're like, oh, my pants are just like reeking like the grave. Yeah, it was the dog. He was like,
Interesting.
yeah, they perceive the world very, very differently than we do. You know, our noses are mostly for avoiding rotten food, right? So that is
Yeah.
probably the strongest stuff. Like avoid corpses, avoid poop, avoid, you know, rotting meat. Those are very strong smells. We can't do things like dogs can do. Like we can't track our prey,
Yeah.
you know, by scent. We can't ascertain the reproductive status of another person by scent, right? Like a dog can, you know. So dogs can tell if you have cancer by smelling you. They can tell when you ate yesterday. They can tell all these things. And I'm sure that poop is like this vibrant, you know, it's like going on to Facebook or something like that. There's all this information overload and stuff, and it's all garbage and none of it's worth anything, but it's very entertaining to a dog.
Cancer?
What's that?
Dogs can detect cancer by smelling something?
Yes, dogs can detect cancer.
Wow.
Now, that sounds, to put that in context, you know, because that sounds like, wow, that sounds like magical or something like that. Some kinds of cancer stink, okay? And you could detect if a person was dying of this kind of cancer. So the dogs are detecting certain kinds of cancers well before people because of the sense that they're able to produce. But yeah, like, because certain cancers carry out a different sort of metabolism than normal human tissue, it does cause a very slight change in the body odor of a person, which dogs can be trained to recognize, right? Because they have noses that are far, far, you know, better developed than we
Yeah.
are. But you know.
That's interesting.
So there are some smells that humans like. You know, there's a few. Tuberose is nice, and you know, gardenia is one of my favorites and things like that. But if you think about your daily experience of the world, most of what your nose is telling you is that's disgusting, right? That's the most common piece of information. But the dog, you know, they're getting like, oh, she's getting to be fertile, and you know, all kinds of stuff like that, all kinds of information that your nose is never going to tell you. So, what the dog is thinking when they eat crap, I don't know, but it's not healthy for them either. It's not.
Found
Yeah.
monkey dogs licking a slug in the backyard the other day. I was like, and it was a big one. I'm like, what are y'all doing? I
Once
stopped
the
questioning.
neighbor's cat jumped over into my cousin's backyard when they uncle was had some German shepherds that were rejects for the police academy training, and the 3 of those German shepherds like were on that cat like a rocket, and like all that he saw was like the 3 German shepherds like jumping and everything like that on top of it. When he got to the cat to pull it out, it was just like covered in drool. They'd just been licking it all over, and the cat was like traumatized psychologically for life. Like it wasn't hurting her, but it was like just like completely slicked over with dog
Wow.
drool.
At least they weren't trying to hurt it.
Yeah, no, they
I
weren't.
thought that was going differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for the day
Yeah,
mine catches
you-
a squirrel.
What's that?
Wait for the day mine catches a squirrel because they shoot out the door and
Yeah.
the squirrels aren't aware, and I'm waiting for it, and it's gonna be bad.
I'm gonna have to do something with the squirrels in the yard. I don't know what the legal, standing is. You can shoot them?
Yeah, it's on your property.
I know I'm not allowed to shoot like local neighborhood ordinance can't shoot off firearms. So then like
You're
it's
good.
like
Give me the
We
guns.
you go.
We once showed up to my wife's grandparents' house, and her grandmother and grandfather were in the backyard, and her grandmother was holding the legs of the squirrel while her grandfather was pulling the skin off of it.
Oh, wow.
Was the squirrel alive?
No.
no, he's skinning it. He's skinning it.
Yeah, if you're skinning it, I don't think it'd be
I
alive.
tried to skin a squirrel once. I found a dead squirrel on my property once, and I was like, I'm gonna get a pelt. And I got down, I turned that thing over, and then I saw all the nits on its belly, and I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Those moccasins.
No. And I was like,
have.
I'm gonna get a cool, nice, soft pelt and learn about doing
You
some
want those
cool.
hats?
Yeah. Then it was just like swarming with lice, and I was like,
Yeah, I have my neighbor, she's from West Virginia, and she'll go up there and they'll have squirrel.
she'll peel it and eat it.
Yep.
I would try it.
I said, or she said it tastes like chicken.
Those are
That's
different
nice.
things.
Yeah.
Get some really good camouflage in a bat and stuff in your front yard. Just whack
You said a bat?
Yeah, a bat.
I'd like to see you.
Make a
I'd like to
canvas
see you
suit,
do
just
that.
Sit under the tree. Perfectly still for hours.
There were people.
Cheerios outside yesterday to see if the squirrels would come and eat it.
Did they?
A bunch of kids came over to
A bunch of toddlers came out.
They defecated my front yard.
My brother sent me these video
I think
ones.
squirrels like pears. My grandmother had.
Yeah.
Like almost like a slingshot kind of thing. And those fruits.
Yes,
I was so angry when I
they do that with
Things
fruit.
that
They
don't
do.
even cost
Yeah.
money.
And
And it would show
What
the
you doing?
Yeah.
They,
We love fruit.
the squirrel come up, go in a little basket, and the slingshot is like 40 yards.
And
That sounds
I like
awesome.
it 'cause it
I was thinking of like bear traps for my yard, but then I thought, well, the children would learn a very.
Open trapping in your residential area might not be.
Yeah.
Where I let my dogs out.
My son's gonna end up with a peg leg. Yeah.
There were no squirrels, but I couldn't tell because I was in prison.
Start barking out the window. I'm like,
All right, so all right, this is really easy. You have nerve endings that detect the outside world, and nerve endings that detect the inside world. Nerve endings that detect the outside world are exteroceptors, and nerve endings that detect the inside world are interoceptors. Okay. Pretty easy. Chemicals that you secrete in one part of your body to communicate with another part of your body are called hormones. Chemicals that you secrete in one part of your body to communicate with a different individual are called pheromones. With humans and probably most mammals, the pheromones are primarily sexual, but in the insect world, social insects have many kinds of pheromones, including alarm pheromones and trail pheromones and other things like that. So that is actually probably one of the primary ways that ants communicate with each other is by marking pheromones on different things. But even cats will do like territoriality pheromone too. So when the cat comes up and rubs its head against you, it's not being affectionate. It's marking you as its property, and it's communicating not with you but with other cats that might pass by. Cats are just pure evil. People just don't understand cat language, so they think that they're being like loved and stuff like that. Cats have a hard time communicating with other animals in general. Like the reason dogs hate cats is because cat response to threat is to stand your ground, stick up your fur, and like look as scary as possible. And dog response to threat is to avert your eyes, right? Like, don't look them in the eye, give up, show subservience, right? So when a dog looks at a cat and the cat's like this, that's like, them's fighting words, right? And so the dog will just get more and more excited until it's got to end up with a fight or something like that, and then one of them has to, because if two dogs meet each other, like one of them will be like, I'm not going to look you in the eye, I don't dare. But cats can't communicate that because they don't even think to show subservience. There's no I give up in cat.
Yeah.
There's just run away. Run away and pretend nothing happened, right? That's the cat language version.
No, mine's a little Sour Patch Kid. He is evil, and then he wants to love you. He'll bite you, and then he'll let his head bite you.
Okay, so what is the gland that controls the metabolism? The thyroid gland. It's in your neck, and it controls your metabolism, produces thyroxine, T3 and T4. All right, what is the process where you have female who produces fertilized eggs by herself? It's a miracle. What's that?
Asexual?
It is a form of asexual reproduction. Specifically what? What's that?
Yeah.
No, hermaphrodites, that would be sexual.
So this is a process where the female produces eggs on her own?
Yep, and they're clones of her. Parthenogenesis. You want to write that one down. Parthenogenesis. There's some lizards. Those are probably the highest animals that have gotten parthenogenesis. Some lizards have developed that ability. Lots of lower animals have that ability. Parthenogenesis.
What is seahorse? A male seahorse?
No, they have sex normally. The difference is that afterwards, she sticks her fertilized eggs into his belly, and he gets pregnant with them. So that actually smoothly transitions us into like viviparity and oviparity and ovoviviparity. Viviparity, you have live offspring. In oviparity, you lay eggs that later hatch. Then ovoviviparity, you produce eggs that you keep inside of you until they hatch. And then finally, forms of birth control. All right, what are some of the real life, like practical differences between the different categories of birth control?
IUDs.
You got IUDs and you got pills and stuff like that. Both of those work in the same way. What they do?
They prevent menstruation.
Yeah, they prevent menstruation. They prevent ovulation. So they prevent implantation. So those are hormones that basically sterilize the woman. And then what is another category?
Diaphragms and condoms.
Yeah, the diaphragm and condoms, things that actually prevent the sperm from reaching the egg at all. Okay, and then the advantage of something like a condom over an IUD would be what? STD prevention. And that's it. Okay, so test is hard. If you do well, you can bring up your grade as much as you like. Okay, don't bomb it. Show me what you know here at the end. Unlimited capacity for raising your grade at this point. So